Happy Face, the gripping Paramount Plus series that's got everyone talking, starring Dennis Quaid as the Happy Face killer, Keith Hunter Jesperson, and Anna Lee Ashford as his daughter Melissa. The show blends fact and fiction to tell a chilling story, but how much of it is true? Let's break down the differences between the show and the real-life events, from personal lives to appearances, and everything in between. Keith Hunter Jesperson, born in 1955 in Canada, was a long-haul trucker who murdered at least 8 women between 1990 and 1995 across states like California, Oregon, and Washington. His nickname, the Happy Face Killer, came from the smiley faces he drew on taunting letters and confessions left for authorities. His daughter, Melissa Moore, was just a teenager when she learned her father was a serial killer. She's since become an advocate for families of killers, sharing her story through her 2009 memoir, Shattered Silence, and her 2018 podcast, Happy Face, both of which inspired the show. The series Happy Face is described as inspired by a true story, but it takes some serious creative liberties. Let's start with the biggest differences in the events depicted. In the show, the central plot revolves around Keith confessing to a 9th murder in Texas, where a man named Elijah is wrongfully convicted and facing execution. Melissa, played by Anna Lee Ashford, is drawn back to her father's orbit to investigate this crime and clear Elijah's name. It's a dramatic hook, but here's the reality. There's no evidence Keith Jesperson ever confessed to a specific 9th murder, and the Texas setting is fictional. Jesperson is confirmed to have killed 8 women in states like Washington, Oregon, California, and Florida, and while he's claimed to up to 160 murders, most of those claims are unverified. The Elijah storyline? Pure fiction, though it's loosely inspired by a real case where 2 people, Laverne Palvanak and John Subnowski, were wrongfully convicted of Jesperson's first murder of Tanya Bennett in 1990. They were later exonerated after Jesperson confessed. Another big invention is the setting of Melissa's adult life. In Happy Face, she's portrayed as a makeup artist working on a fictional talk show called The Dr. Greg Show, where her father calls in, outing her identity and pulling her into the murder investigation. In real life, Melissa did attend cosmetology school briefly, but she never worked on a talk show. Instead, she first shared her story on Dr. Phil in 2008, later appearing on The Oprah Winfrey Show in 2020. She also became a crime correspondent for The Dr. Oz Show. Her real-life media journey was driven by her advocacy, not a forced outing by her father. The Dr. Greg Show and its producer Ivy, who pushes Melissa to exploit her story, are entirely made up to critique the true crime industry's sensationalism. Now, let's talk personal lives. In the show, Melissa's character is named Melissa Reed, not Moore, and she's married to a man named Ben with kids named Hazel and Max. The names are changed for dramatic effect, but the family dynamic is somewhat the same. In reality, Melissa is married to Steve Knoyer, and they have 2 children, though their real names aren't Hazel or Max. The show depicts Melissa's daughter Hazel dealing with her grandfather's legacy by selling his artwork online, which ties into the real market for Jesperson's drawings. Some sell for up to $600, and serial killer memorabilia is displayed in U.S. museums. However, there's no evidence Melissa's real daughter, who learned about her grandfather at age 10, ever sold his art or had contact with him. In fact, Melissa had said her daughter has no interest in meeting Jesperson, calling his actions inexcusable. The show also tweaks Melissa's childhood. It portrays her at 15 when her father was arrested, but she was actually 16 in 1995 when Jesperson was apprehended for murdering his girlfriend, Julie Winningham. The series nails some aspects of his upbringing, like his parents' divorce in 1990 and Jesperson's inappropriate comments to her as a child, which Melissa detailed in her memoir. It also captures her witnessing his animal cruelty, like torturing and killing kittens, which she saw as a glimpse of his sociopathic side. But the show's sunny, soapy vibe sometimes softens the grim reality of her toxic relationship with her father, who manipulated her emotionally even from prison. What about appearances? Let's start with Keith Jesperson. Dennis Quaid plays him with wide-rimmed glasses and a leering smile, emphasizing his manipulative persona. The real Jesperson, now 70, was a towering 6'6" trucker, much taller than the 6-foot Quaid. While Quaid's portrayal captures Jesperson's chilling demeanor, he didn't meet Jesperson to prepare, relying instead on research to avoid what he called a bunch of BS. The smiley face motif is spot on though. It's straight from Jesperson's real letters and bathroom wall confessions. For Melissa, Anna Lee Ashford's casting wasn't about physical resemblance, but emotional depth. The real Melissa Moore, who's now in her 40s, has a warm, approachable look, often seen in interviews with soft, dark hair. Ashford, a Broadway veteran, brings a more polished, TV-ready vibe to the role, with the show's Melissa sporting a softer, more stylized appearance. The series doesn't aim for a perfect match, focusing instead on Melissa's internal struggle. Interestingly, Melissa herself is an executive producer on the show, ensuring her story's core resonates, even if the details are tweaked. So, what does Happy Face get right? Quite a bit, actually. It actually depicts Jesperson's crimes. 8 confirmed murders, often targeting sex workers and acquaintances with victims raped and strangled. The show reflects his arrest in 1995 after Julie Whittingham's murder and his confession to his brother in a letter. Melissa's emotional journey, reconciling her father's loving facade with his monstrous actions, is drawn straight from her memoir and podcast. The series also nails the real-life wrongful convictions of Palvanak and Sovnosky, though it's woven into the fictional Elijah plot. And Jesperson's chilling lack of remorse, like calling his murders errors in judgment in a letter to Melissa, is mirrored in the show's dialogue. One last thing, the show's tone. Happy Face has a soapy, sometimes light-hearted feel, with Melissa's idyllic home life shot in soft focus, which clashes with the grim reality of Jesperson's crimes. In real life, Melissa's journey was far darker. She has cut off contact with her father in 2004 and is focused on healing through advocacy, even creating a network for over 300 relatives of killers. The show's fictionalized drama, while entertaining, can't fully capture the raw pain of her experience. Happy Face is a compelling dive into a real-life nightmare, but it's more drama than documentary. By blending fact with fiction, it explores Melissa Moore's struggles while adding invented stakes like the 9th Murder and the Dr. Greg Show. For the full, unfiltered story, check out Melissa's book, Shattered Silence, or her Happy Face podcast. What do you think of the show's changes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.